Before my diagnosis, I actually knew absolutely nothing about it. I'd never even heard of it. And I actually had quite a few gay friends, and you'd think that I would have known about it, but I just had no clue. My initial response when I got diagnosed was basically I just took it as a death sentence. I went and researched on the internet and looked at the wrong information, and then went into self-destruct mode. So I turned to drugs and whatever else. I was with a partner, and he had 2 children, and he was just a normal person. And he went to the sexual health clinic and he had to go get tested for something, and then he told me that it was for HIV. But he assured me while he was waiting for the results that there was no way in the world I could have contracted it, women couldn't get it, and so I just believed him. His response was quite different to mine. He actually broke it off with me. We'd been together for about 8 or 9 months. He broke it off with me. He disappeared off the face of the planet, and I've never heard from him, seen him, anything again. I actually made a big mistake. Firstly, I turned to my work because I was getting promoted through management. So I thought the first year I worked there, I had a few sick days. So I didn't want them to think I was just taking time off. So I actually went to my senior managers and I called a meeting and actually disclosed it to them in a private, confidential setting. Then what actually happened was my team leader went to the pub for work drinks, had a few too many. He talked to another team leader about what I had, and next thing you know, half my workplace knew. I ended up having over 100 days off in a year unpaid because I just didn't want to go face a workplace. So they were kind of the only support I felt like I had until that actually happened, and then I lost my job, and that just made everything worse. 30 years ago, I think people were scared to death of it, which they should have been, but I think that's left a really sour taste in people's mouths, and I just think that the word needs to get out there and people just need to be educated. About 2 years after I was diagnosed, after I got off my self-destruct mode a little bit, I went to go to the doctor, and I got to a level where they wanted to put me on medication. So I was on 3 tablets a day. That didn't agree with me, but I wasn't taking my medication properly either, which really jeopardised the medication working. So I stopped the medication and went back onto self-destruct mode. Since I've been with my partner, Michael, I take it every night, and I've been undetectable for about 2 years now. The key to it is just taking the medication correctly. Well, moving forward with an undetectable viral load means I can try and have a baby, which is what I'm trying to do. So, I've already got a stepdaughter, but I do want a child of my own. When I first found out I was undetectable, I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but it was about maybe a year ago. I come to the AIDS Council in Perth, and there was a magazine, and it had the undetectables on the front cover like they were superheroes. And since then, I've pretty much said I feel like a superhero because it's like, I've beaten it kind of thing. It hasn't beaten me. HIV has affected my relationships. In the past, it's affected them in quite a negative way. I thought it would bring even me and my mum sort of closer together, but it didn't. My mum kind of just still wants to think that I'm dying when I'm clearly not. I've been with my partner Michael for 5 years this year. When we first met, I'd had bad experiences disclosing it, but I didn't want to hide it, so I was very afraid, but I told Michael about it, and when I told Michael, I encouraged him to ask questions, and I probably gave him too much information. He's still here, he didn't run away. He's actually probably the first person that showed that he actually cared. And Michael's been accepting of it from day one. He comes to appointments and he's just there for me, and that means everything. I've got a couple of really good relationships, and that's all that I need to look forward to the future. I've just left the negative experiences behind and trying to full steam ahead. I've started seeing a lady at a job provider, and she's absolutely incredible. She said to me, like, what do you want to be when you're all grown up? And I'm like, well, Actually, I've wanted to use the HIV to do something good with it and educate people and whatnot. She got me into a course which is a diploma of counselling, which I'm now 3/4 of the way through. I've learned a lot about myself out of it, and it's been very different to when I last had a job. I really just want to achieve getting the word out there to everybody. That is honestly what I want to achieve, and I also want to have a baby and eventually get a house because the caravan's quite cramped, but yeah. Tell everybody, before you think of it as a death sentence, go and seek the right support and go and seek the right help and actually find out about it and know that you can live a normal life.